What's going on YouTube? So when it comes to small luxury crossovers, the Mercedes GLC has long been one of the most popular options in this competitive segment. And to combat all those competitive rivals, Mercedes just redesigned this vehicle, giving it the latest tech and design from the brand. With all the competition that you have to choose from, is the GLC the best one to pick? Well, let's go ahead and find out. All right, so let's go ahead and start things off under the hood. So the GLC 300 will continue to come with a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine with a mild hybrid system. Output on this is going to be 255 horsepower, 295 pound-feet of torque, and for 2024, later on, Mercedes will be introducing the GLC 43 AMG model. That's going to have the same powertrain as the C43.
Now, as far as your transmission for the GLC 300, it's going to be a 9-speed automatic. You have the option between rear-wheel drive and all-wheel drive. And as far as the fuel economy is concerned, it's either 28 or 26 miles a gallon combined.
Now, of course, we're going to go out for a test drive later on in this review. We're going to show you the performance. We're going to get things like our signature sound level reading, because you probably want to know, how does this stack up to competitors like the Q5 and X3. But before we do any of that, we're going to close up the hood and take a look at this new exterior design. Now, when you're dealing with the best-selling Mercedes, you're probably not going to rock the boat too much. So in terms of the exterior design, when Mercedes was redesigning this, they didn't go too extremely different from the previous generation. That, in my opinion, is a good thing, because this is a very handsome SUV, especially when you choose to have the AMG line like we have on today's example. We also have the night package, which is going to give you the blacked out elements that you see here. With the AMG line, that's what's going to give you this grille that has the black piece here in the middle, and then kind of the little sparkles that are going to go out, giving you that diamond finish like the full AMG models. Now, coming over here to our headlights, you do of course have standard full LED headlights. These are going to be the standard version, so they're actually reflector LEDs. If you want projector LEDs, as well as the special digital lighting system that Mercedes offers, that is available as an additional option. Now, moving around to the rear design, of course, you're going to see all the latest Mercedes design elements, just like you saw in the front.
Yeah, and I think it looks really good. It's, of course, that classy Mercedes design that a lot of you guys have really enjoyed. Now, Drew's going to go ahead and hop inside, because we're going to check out the taillight elements. That's something we do here at Car Confections. We want to show you if all 3 elements are LED. So we do have an LED brake light portion, LED reverse light, and amber LED turn signal indicator. So all 3 elements LED, thumbs up from Car Confections. And then as far as this lower area, as we drop down, you will notice that we have a pretty aggressive diffuser area. Since we have the AMG line, that's going to black everything out down here for that sportier look. We do still keep the chrome-tipped trapezoidal exhaust outlets, which is a really nice touch. And as far as your tow rating is concerned, it's going to be 3,500 pounds.
Now, moving on to our wheels, obviously you're going to have a lot of different choices on board for this GLC. We have the 20-inch AMG model wheel option. I love this multi-spoke. You've probably seen this on a lot of different Mercedes products, and that's because it really looks good on a lot of models, especially this GLC. Now, rising up here to our mirrors, because we have the night edition, or the night package, excuse me, that is going to give you the blacked out finish up top. They're going to be fully loaded as well, so we have heating, blind spot monitoring, power folding, and we also have driver's side auto dimming.
Now, here at the side of the GLC, it's coming in at an overall length of about 185 inches, which is up a little over 2 inches over the previous generation GLC. Now, as far as some of the design elements, we do have blacked out window surrounds for the night model, including the blacked out roof rails. And I do want to talk about your safety systems, because based on what I see out on the road, it seems like a lot of people need more safety systems, and you are going to have 2 out of your 4 active safety features as standard equipment on the GLC. Additionally, you do have the driving assistance package, which will further add in your other 2 systems, as well as a traffic jam assistant function. But guys, that's it for the exterior design of this 2024 GLC. Now let's go ahead and check out the inside. But before, if you're new here, we're brothers and we've been reviewing cars since we were 12
and 16. We may be young, but we love cars.
And we'd love for you to subscribe to be a part of our Car Confections family. Let's learn a lot, have some fun with all the latest cars.
The exterior is quite attractive, but let's go ahead and check out the beautiful interior. First, we'll take a look at our key fob. Mercedes has upgraded this to the latest key fob, which I really like. It's all like solid metal around the outside edge. Really has a nice feel in the hand. You do have a smart entry system, of course. And to get inside, just grab behind the handle and that will unlock the door. Now taking a look inside of the interior, you're gonna see the latest and greatest design language details. And as far as your different material and color choices, you're gonna have a large number of them, just like with the exterior customizability. We're gonna start off with MBTEX synthetic leather. That is actually what we have on today's example, but since we have the AMG line, this does have a more aggressive sport seat, so you'll notice the enhanced bolsters here on the side. We also have an exclusive color. This is Neva Gray, so this is not offered on the standard version of the GLC. Love the perforation and the overall look. And in terms of the seat controls, you are gonna have a standard 16-way power adjusting seat with the new touch capacitive controls like you may have seen on some other Mercedes products with standard memory seats. 3-stage heated seats are gonna be standard equipment, and you also have the option of seat ventilation. But let's go ahead and climb inside. And now that we're fully inside, I can finish showing you the rest of the beautiful cabin. That's gonna start with our door trim, where we have a full leatherette covering with color contrast stitching. We also have the leatherette that runs all across the entire upper part. That's gonna continue across the entire upper dashboard, again with the double stitching detail. This is where things get really luxurious though, because we have a beautiful natural open pore walnut that's gonna waterfall all through there and kind of go in behind the display. And then we finish things off with a Pinot Black that's gonna be across our entire center console, and then some leather padding down here where our knee will rest against. But let's go ahead and fire it up with the standard push button start. By the way, I do want to point out that the leather covered dashboard is optional for about 350 bucks. But let's dive into our digital gauge cluster first of all. This is going to be a 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster, fully reconfigurable like you've seen on other models, so you can, very easily make big changes to the overall design, like your sport mode. You also have your navigation and things like that inside of the display. However, if you do want a head-up display, you're gonna have to choose the Pinnacle trim level of this. This is the exclusive trim level, so we don't have it. You've got rain-sensing wipers. As we pull back to the steering wheel, because we have the AMG line, we have this beautiful AMG steering wheel. I love this brand new design. You've got those kind of areas where you can actually see through the steering wheel. It is flat-bottomed, and it's going to be standard power, tilt, and telescoping. Heating is going to be optional though. But it's time to talk about interior storage, so let's get into that. Now at Car Confections, we like to do a thing called the donut test, because our emblem is a donut, as you see on my shirt right now. So we like to see if we can fit a dozen donuts inside of the console. We cannot here with the GLC. We have been able to fit 9, get it? That's a German joke. But we fit 9 donuts inside of this center console, which is pretty good for this segment. There are definitely some that fit less than that, although there are a couple that will fit a little bit more. Now, if we open that up, you're gonna find your 2 cup holders. One thing I like about this is these are reconfigurable, so you can actually collapse them, or you can press down and that will extend them out. And then you've got your wireless phone charging pad kind of tucked in way back there, which is also standard equipment. No shifter, of course, right here, because Mercedes likes to put their shifters up here on the steering column. Press down for drive. You do have paddle shifters on the steering wheel. Press up for reverse, and that's going to bring up your 360-degree camera system, so long as you choose this exclusive trim level or above. When I go into this button right here, this is where I can get to our 3D view. What's remarkable about this is not that it's offered, because several rivals do have it, but the resolution is absolutely stunning. This is basically straight from the S-Class, and it looks awesome on this large display. You do, of course, also have automatic parallel and perpendicular parking abilities. But now we're kind of into this display area. Let's start off down here with this lower tier of buttons. First of all, you do have a fingerprint reader that's going to allow your settings to be synced into the system. You've got your drive mode controller over here, and then on this side we have a touch capacitive button for our audio system. So what we have on board is the available 710 watt 15 speaker Burmester surround sound system, and we'll go ahead and give it a sample right now. Yeah, so overall sound quality of this system is excellent. One of the other things I really like about it, of course, is that you have the real metal speaker grills in both of the door trims. They look very nice and very detailed. All right, so now let's get back over here to the main display. So with this new generation of GLC, Mercedes has moved to this kind of style of display where it's mostly oriented like an iPad would be. This is going to be 11.9 inches, and the lower section will be where your climate control lives. We've got the dual zone automatic climate control on today's example. It's very easy to adjust, just located right there. Additional functions are inside of the climate menu. And then as far as the main infotainment system, this of course is MBUX, the latest and greatest generation. We are going to have our built-in navigation right here, front and center, and then down at the bottom you're going to have shortcuts which take you to some of the other various different functions. You do of course have wireless Android Auto and wireless Apple CarPlay as well. Moving above, you got your 3 distinct vents up here at the top. We do have our auto dimming mirror, 3 HomeLink universal remotes built into the bottom of it. And then looking up here at the top, we have a touch capacitive panel. This is where we can swipe back and roll back the sunscreen for our panoramic sunroof. As you can see, very nice and large piece of glass on board. You're going to have a standard size sunroof as standard, and then the panoramic sunroof is an additional cost option.
Now let's check out the rear seat of this GLC. Now, as far as this area is concerned, you do have a very nice rear seat. We're looking at about 37.4 inches of legroom, about 40 inches of headroom though, so those are very good headroom figures. And as far as the legroom, it's going to be right on par with most in the segment, like the BMW X3, Audi Q5, Lexus NX, all those main rivals. Now, I do want to mention these seats are going to be a little bit on the firmer side, so do keep that in mind. Also, the seats do not recline in the GLC. Now let's go ahead and turn our attention towards some of the features you're going to get. Here in the center, we do have standard rear vents. I like the design of these as well. They're very nice. And if we drop down below that, I'm not exactly sure if you can get climate controls back here. You might be able to option on climate controls in the second row. I'm not exactly sure on that though. And for whatever reason, we are missing USB ports. So I'm not sure if that's a COVID part shortage issue or just an option issue on this particular model, but no USB ports in the rear of this GLC. And then if we pop this open, this is a nice little phone storage cubby. And then you also have 2 cup holders that pop out of the armrest. Now let's go ahead and turn to the door trim. The door trim is really nicely done. We have a really nice leatherette on the upper part, leatherette through the middle with a nice white color. Additionally, we do have a lot of bottle storage down in the very bottom. I imagine you'd be able to fit quite a big bottle back there, and heated rear seats are an option. Now walking up to the GLC's cargo area, we do have a standard hands-free power tailgate, which is certainly a nice feature to be included as standard equipment. You just kick your foot under the bumper and it does open right up. And as far as the space is concerned back here, we are going to have a good amount of it. We're sitting at about 22 cubic feet behind the second row seats, and as a maximum, we're looking at 56.3 cubic feet. Now, that's going to be up from the previous generation GLC. Also, it's going to be pretty much in line with those main rivals like Audi Q5. However, it's a little bit less than the BMW X3 if that's something you're cross-shopping it with. Now let's go ahead and mention some of the features back here. Of course, very plush carpeting here in the GLC. We also have a metal thing right there to lift up the floor, and we do have a spare tire integrated underneath of here. As far as other features, we do have these buttons right here, which will actually electrically fold your 40-20-40 split folding rear seats. So I like that it's 40-20-40 split folding, and I also really like that we have these electronic switches back here. A lot of the rivals do not include that. Now normally I would go ahead and get my tape measure out to measure the rear of the cargo area. However, it did break yesterday and we haven't been able to get another one. We will go ahead and try and insert some measurements from the previous GLC that we did just for your reference. Well guys, here we are behind the wheel of the 2024 Mercedes GLC 300, and in this test drive we're going to be talking about a lot of different things that you might be curious about if you're looking to buy one of these, including getting our Car Confections signature sound level reading so you can see how quiet this vehicle is. But first we're going to go ahead and start with a hard acceleration.
All right, so there we are, accelerating up to 60 miles per hour. As you've known throughout this video, this is the GLC 300. It's actually the only version that's available currently in the US at least. There is that upcoming GLC 43 AMG, which we mentioned earlier. That's gonna give you that potent turbo 4-cylinder that is in the C43 AMG, and that'll obviously have a lot more power. But until then, you have the 300 version, which is nothing to snub your nose at, that's for sure. And just to remind you what we said in the spec dump, it is a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine with a mild hybrid setup, 255 horsepower, 295 pound-feet of torque. The torque really is very nice, feels nice and punchy when you get off the line. And it is actually the same as what we sampled in the GLE 350, but this is a smaller package, so I think it feels a little bit more peppy.
Yeah, and like you said with the torque, I think that's really the first thing you'll notice. And we actually, conveniently enough, drove a BMW X3 just yesterday, and this certainly has a more torquey feel than that BMW X3.
As far as your transmission is concerned, you do have a 9-speed automatic. This is a nice and smooth transmission, just like it is in all the other Mercedes products, especially when you're just driving around like a normal civilized person, just accelerating between the stoplights. It's going to be something that blends completely into the background.
And as far as how that power is routed to the ground, you do have rear drive as your standard option, optional 4-matic all-wheel drive, excuse me. And that's probably going to be what the vast majority of you guys pick. I guess you can save a little bit of money by choosing the rear drive model, but most people will pick the 4-matic all-wheel drive. And as far as fuel economy is concerned, for the 300 rear drive model, that's going to be coming in at 28 miles a gallon combined. And if you choose 4-matic all-wheel drive, it's 26 mpg combined. So very impressive fuel economy figures, and that is because of that mild hybrid system that Drew was mentioning just a little bit ago.
And if you're wondering about the practical aspects of what a mild hybrid does and how it operates, well, basically it's allowing you to have like an advanced auto start-stop system that is extremely, extremely smooth. So when you come to a stop, or you begin to come to a stop rather, before the vehicle even is completely stopped, the engine will go ahead and turn off. It's also, like I said, just extremely smooth when you start moving again. You really just don't feel it. So obviously the engine's going to be cycling on and off a lot more frequently than it normally would be able to, but it's not something you're going to notice, which is the crucial thing.
Very, very smooth, and that was added for this all-new GLC model to really improve the fuel economy and improve just the overall auto start-stop experience, because you can't really feel that difference when it comes on and off. Now that we've kind of opened up and we're going around 50 miles an hour, I do want to also talk about your ride quality. Really everything in this segment has a very good ride quality, and that is going to be the case with this GLC 300 as well. Even if you choose the AMG line with the sporty exterior like what we've done on this model, the ride quality is still very luxury oriented, that's for sure. You have soft and comfortable seats, and when you hit a bump, the suspension does a really good job of soaking up any intrusion into the cabin. All right, 55 miles per hour. Let's do our signature sound level reading. We've officially settled in at 52.1 decibels, which is a very good sound level reading for this segment of vehicle, but I don't have to sit here and guess because I have all of those sound level readings available to me because we went ahead and took the time to put it on our website, carconfections.com. You can see all of the vehicles that we've reviewed in this segment and compare it. That actually does place this as the quietest option in the entire segment, 52.1 decibels. That beats out the BMW X3, and it is a little bit quieter than the previous Mercedes GLC that we tested out on this exact strip of road. And now it's time to do one of our other signature elements, our airball and slam dunk, our least favorite and favorite element. Drew, kick us off with the slam dunk.
Well, the slam dunk has got to be the cabin of this GLC. It was already such a nice vehicle, but the redesign actually made it even nicer. And this is something that really stands out versus the competition. You know, there are a lot of competitors, but no one is quite giving you this level of luxury experience with the materials, just generous use of the real wood and aluminum elements that make you feel like you have a very expensive product.
Yeah, and as far as our airball is concerned, it's got to be the price. I know we haven't quite mentioned it up until this point yet, but we're sitting at about $64,000 as tested today, and we are in a middle trim level. We're not even in the highest end GLC 300 you can get. So that does place this as definitely one of the most expensive, if not the most expensive in the entire segment. And I do want to mention your warranty as well. For Mercedes-Benz, you are going to have 4-year, 50,000 miles for both your basic and powertrain, and they do not do complimentary maintenance. And let's go ahead and talk pricing for the 2024 GLC. You'll be happy to know that despite a model year change, we're only going to rise in price $350 for the GLC 300 4MATIC. So we're now starting at $49,450. And you do have slightly more standard equipment. You do have the Sirius XM radio now included as standard for the 2024 model. Now, if you want to option it like what we have on this particular tester, we have quite a few of the options, plus the 1150 destination. We are looking at $63,875 as tested today. Now, if you're looking to buy a Mercedes GLC or any new vehicle, the next place you should go to if you're a smart shopper is carconfections.com/newcarquotes. Now, on there we have a tool that will connect you with local dealers in your area to get you the best price on your new vehicle. Additionally, it's going to give you access to invoice pricing information, which is a great tool for negotiating with your dealership. If you'd like to take advantage of that, a link is provided in our video description. And guys, that's going to be where we leave off on this in-depth review of the 2024 Mercedes-Benz GLC 300. If you enjoyed watching this video or found it helpful in your purchasing decisions, we would really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button down below. By subscribing, you're going to join in on this Car Confections family, and I promise you won't want to miss out on being part of that family because we have a lot of fun on this channel and we do talk a lot about different vehicles. So if you're not interested in the GLC, there's going to be something else that you're interested in, I'm sure. If you're already a fan and subscriber, thank you so much for your continued support, and we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.